Welcome, dear listener, to a journey through time. As you settle into your comfortable space, allow your mind to drift back nearly 2,000 years to the heart of the Roman Empire. The world you're about to enter is one of stark contrasts, of glory and brutality, of opulence and struggle. Tonight, we'll explore the life of a Roman gladiator, delve into the underground chambers of the Colosseum, and even experience a day in the life of a wealthy patrician. But first, let us begin where many gladiatorial stories start, in the harsh training grounds where men are forged into living weapons for the arena. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let the modern world fade away. Imagine yourself transported to a time when Rome ruled much of the known world, and the roar of the crowd in the arena was the heartbeat of the empire. As we begin our exploration, remember that you are safe, warm, and far removed from the challenges we'll describe. Let the steady flow of history lull you into a state of calm reflection. The sun has not yet risen over the city of Rome, but already the Ludus, the gladiatorial training school, is stirring with activity. Imagine yourself as a new recruit, your eyes heavy with sleep, your body aching from yesterday's exertions. The hard wooden pallet that serves as your bed offers little comfort, and the thin woolen blanket does little to ward off the pre-dawn chill. As you rise, the scent of sweat and leather fills your nostrils, a constant reminder of the rigorous training that awaits. Your fellow gladiators in training are also stirring, each man a potential opponent in the arena, yet also your brothers in this strange, brutal fraternity. The day begins with a meager breakfast, a bowl of porridge made from barley, perhaps softened with a little olive oil if you're fortunate. It's bland and unsatisfying, but you know you'll need every bit of energy it provides. As you eat, you can hear the clanging of metal and the grunts of effort from the training yard. The more experienced gladiators are already at work, honing their skills with wooden practice weapons. After your meal, you join the others in the yard. The ground is hard-packed turf, worn smooth by countless feet. Your instructor, a grizzled veteran of the arena, barks out orders. Form lines. He shouts, and you scramble to obey. The morning routine begins with stretches and exercises designed to build strength and flexibility. Your muscles protest as you hold difficult poses, but you dare not show weakness. As the sun climbs higher, the real training begins. You are handed a wooden sword, a rudis, and a heavy shield. The weight is considerable, and you know that by the end of the day, your arms will feel like lead. But for now, you must focus on the basic moves, the thrust, the parry, the shield block. Over and over, you repeat these motions until they become second nature. The heat of the day intensifies, and sweat pours down your face, stinging your eyes. There's no respite, no chance to catch your breath. Your instructor prowls between the lines of trainees, quick to point out flaws with a sharp word or a rap from his own wooden sword. Keep your shield up. He barks at you. A real opponent would have gutted you by now. You struggle to raise your shield higher, your arm trembling with fatigue. The morning drills continue relentlessly. You practice footwork, learning to move swiftly and surely across the uneven ground of the arena. Balance is key. A gladiator who loses his footing is as good as dead. Your legs burn with the effort, but you push on, knowing that this training might one day save your life. As midday approaches, the heat becomes oppressive. The air is thick with dust kicked up by dozens of feet, making it difficult to breathe. Your throat is parched, but water is a luxury reserved for brief breaks. You've learned to savor every precious sip to make it last. The afternoon brings weapons training. Today, You're working with the gladius, the short sword favored by many gladiators. Its weight is reassuring in your hand, even as your arm aches from the morning shield work. You practice strikes against wooden posts wrapped in leather, imagining them as opponents. The repetitive thud of metal against wood fills the air, punctuated by the occasional grunt of effort or pain. Your instructor demonstrates advanced techniques, showing how to exploit weaknesses in an opponent's guard. You watch carefully, knowing that such knowledge could mean the difference between life and death in the arena. When it's your turn to practice, you fumble the movements, earning a disapproving glare. Again, the instructor says, and you comply, ignoring the protests of your tired muscles. As the sun begins to dip towards the horizon, you're paired with another trainee for a sparring practice. The wooden swords have been replaced with blunted metal ones, still painful if they connect, but not lethal. You face your opponent, a man you've come to know over weeks of shared hardship. There is a moment of hesitation. Neither of you wants to hurt the other, but then training takes over. The clash of metal on metal rings out as you exchange blows. Your shield vibrates with each impact, sending shocks up your arm. You manage to deflect most of your opponent's strikes, but a few slip past your guard, leaving bruises that will bloom purple by morning. In turn, you land a few hits of your own, feeling a mix of pride and guilt at your success. The sparring continues until you can barely lift your arms. Finally, mercifully, the instructor calls an end to the day's training. You stumble back to the barracks, every muscle screaming in protest. There is just enough energy left to clean your equipment. Neglecting your weapons and armor is a punishable offense. Dinner is another bowl of porridge, supplemented with a chunk of coarse bread and, if you're lucky, a few scraps of meat or cheese. It's not much, but after the day's exertions, it tastes like a feast. As you eat, you listen to the conversations round you. Some men boast of their prowess in training, while others share rumors about upcoming games. There's talk of a rebellion led by a gladiator named Spartacus, but such discussions are quickly hushed. The Ludus gods don't tolerate any hint of insurrection. After dinner, there's a brief period of relative freedom. Some men gamble with crude dice made from knuckle bones, while others write letters home or tend to their injuries. A few gather to listen to an older gladiator tell stories of his fights in the arena. His tales are equal parts inspiration and warning, a reminder of the glory that awaits, but also of the ever-present specter of death. As night falls, you retire to your hard pallet. Sleep comes quickly, your body too exhausted to keep you awake despite the discomfort. In your dreams, you see yourself in the arena, facing an opponent shrouded in shadow. The roar of the crowd fills your ears, drowning out everything else. You wake with a start, heart pounding, only to realize it's still the middle of the night. Slowly, you calm yourself, knowing that tomorrow will bring another day of grueling training. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months. The routine becomes a rhythm that defines your existence. Wake, train, eat, sleep, repeat. Your body changes, becoming leaner, stronger, more resilient. Scars accumulate, badges of honor in this world of controlled violence. You learn to ignore pain, to push past the limits you once thought unbreakable. Your skills improve steadily. The sword becomes an extension of your arm, the shield a part of your body. You learn to read opponents, to anticipate their moves before they make them. The instructor's criticisms become less frequent, replaced by grudging nods of approval. As your training progresses, you're introduced to different weapons and fighting styles. Some days you work with the trident and net of the retiarius, learning to ensnare and impale. Other days, You don the heavy armor of the Murmillo, practicing how to use your weight and shield to overwhelm opponents. Each style requires a different mindset, a different way of moving and thinking. Months pass, and whispers begin to circulate through the Ludus. The next games are approaching, and some of the trainees will be chosen to make their debut in the arena. The atmosphere becomes charged with a mix of anticipation and dread. Every man wants the chance to prove himself, to win glory and perhaps earn his freedom. But beneath the bravado, there's fear, the knowledge that for many, their first fight will also be their last. One morning, the Lanista, the owner of the Ludus, arrives with his entourage. You and your fellow trainees are lined up in the yard, standing at attention as he walks among you. His eyes are cold, assessing each man like a piece of merchandise. Which of you will provide the best entertainment? Which of you might survive to fight again? To your mix of relief and disappointment, you are not chosen for this round of games. But several of your training companions are, including a young man named Titus who arrived at the Ludus round the same time as you. You watch as they're led away for a special preparation, feeling a complex mix of emotions, gratitude for your continued life, shame at your perceived inadequacy, worry for your friends. The day of the games arrives, and an eerie quiet settles over the Ludus. Those left behind train as usual, but there's a somber atmosphere. Everyone knows that by nightfall, some of their brothers will not return. As the sun sets, you gather with the others to await news. The survivors return first, battered and exhausted but alive. They're greeted with cheers and embraces. Titus is among them, his eyes wide and haunted. Later, he tells you in a hushed voice about the roar of the crowd, the blinding sun, the moment when he thought all was lost but somehow found the strength for one more thrust of his sword. You listen, enthralled and terrified, knowing that one day it will be your turn. Last to return are the bodies of the fallen. They're carried in silently, covered with sheets. You watch as they're taken to a small building at the edge of the compound. Tomorrow, they'll be burned or buried, depending on their wishes or the whims of the Lanista. You say a quiet prayer to whatever gods might be listening, grateful it wasn't you, guilty for a feeling the gratitude. Life in the Ludus continues. Training resumes its relentless pace, but now there's a new urgency to it. You've seen the reality of what you're preparing for, and it drives you to push harder, to become better. You pay closer attention during tactical lessons, memorizing the strengths and weaknesses of different gladiator types. You spend extra time in the yard, practicing your footwork until your legs tremble with exhaustion. Weeks pass, and then it's your turn. Your name is called one morning, along with a handful of others. This is it, your chance to prove yourself in the arena. The preparation is intense. Your weapons are carefully selected and honed to a razor's edge. Your armor is fitted and adjusted for maximum protection without sacrificing mobility. The night before the games, you lie awake on your pallet, unable to sleep. You replay all your training in your mind, imagining every possible scenario. Will you face a single opponent or be part of a group battle? Will the crowd favor you or call for your death if you falter? By the time dawn breaks, you're exhausted but alert, every nerve tingling with anticipation. The journey to the arena is a blur. You're marched through streets lined with cheering crowds, past vendors selling snacks and souvenirs. The noise grows louder as you approach the massive structure of the Colosseum. You've seen it from a distance many times, but now, as you pass through its shadow, its true scale becomes apparent. It dwarfs you, a monument to the spectacle you're about to become a part of. In the holding area beneath the arena, You wait with the other gladiators. The air is thick with tension and the smell of sweat, wool and leather. Some men pray quietly. Others boast loudly to mask their fear. You stand silently, focusing on your breathing, trying to center yourself as your instructor taught you. The sound of the crowd above is muffled but constant, like distant thunder. Occasionally, a roar erupts, signaling some exciting moment in the current fight. Each time, you feel your heart rate spike, knowing that soon it will be your turn to face whatever fate awaits you in the arena. An official approaches, clipboard in hand. He reads out names and assignments. You listen intently, waiting to hear your role. Finally, your name is called. You're to be part of a group battle, 4 against 4. Your teammates are strangers, men from other ludi. You eye them warily, assessing their strengths and potential weaknesses. There's no time for introductions or strategy. You'll have to work together on instinct alone. As you wait for your cue, a grizzled veteran catches your eye. Remember, he says gruffly, out there, it's not about who's the best fighter. It's about who can work the crowd. Give them a show, and you might just live to see tomorrow. You nod, grateful for the advice, though unsure if you'll be able to follow it when the moment comes. Suddenly, there's a commotion. It's time. You follow your group up a ramp, the noise of the crowd growing louder with each step. The sunlight is blinding as you emerge into the arena. For a moment, you're overwhelmed. The vastness of the space, the sea of faces surrounding you, the deafening roar that greets your appearance. But there's no time to gawk. Across the sand, you see your opponents emerging from another entrance. They look as dazed as you feel, but they're already raising their weapons. You do the same, falling into the fighting stance you've practiced countless times. A trumpet blares, and the battle begins. The sand shifts treacherously under your feet as you advance. Your training takes over, your body moving almost without conscious thought. You deflect a blow from an opponent's sword, the impact jarring your arm. Out of the corner of your eye, you see one of your teammates stumble. Without thinking, you move to cover him, your shield taking a hit meant for his exposed back. The fight is chaos. Dust and sand fill the air, making it hard to see. The clash of metal on metal is constant, punctuated by grunts of effort and cries of pain. You lose track of time, focused entirely on survival. Block, strike, dodge, advance, retreat. The patterns you've drilled for months play out in deadly earnest. You score a hit, your sword finding a gap in an opponent's armor. He falls and the crowd roars its approval. The sound energizes you, and you press your advantage. But in your excitement, you leave yourself exposed. A sharp pain explodes in your thigh. You've been struck. The wound isn't deep, but blood flows freely, staining the sand at your feet. The sight of your own blood brings a clarity to your mind. You remember the veteran's advice. This is a show. With a surge of bravado, you raise your bloodied sword to the crowd, eliciting another cheer. Your opponent, perhaps thrown off by your unexpected reaction, hesitates. It's all the opening you need. You lunge forward, your sword finding its mark. He crumples to the ground. The tide of the battle turns. Your team, working together with growing coordination, gains the upper hand. One by one, your opponents fall. Some yield, holding up a hand in surrender. Others fight to the last, collapsing from their wounds. Throughout it all, a crowd's roar is constant, rising and falling with each turn of the fight. Finally, it's over. You stand victorious, chest heaving, surrounded by your teammates. The arena is silent for a moment, then erupts in thunderous applause. You turn slowly, acknowledging the crowd, your arms raised in triumph. The pain of your wounds, the exhaustion in your muscles, all of it fades in the face of this moment of glory. As attendants enter the arena to tend to the wounded and clear away the fallen, you realize with a mix of relief and disbelief that you survived. Your first real battle, and you've emerged victorious. But even as you savor the moment, you're acutely aware that this is just the beginning. You've proven yourself worthy of the arena, but now the real challenge begins. Each fight from here on will be harder, against more skilled opponents. The crowd's favor is fickle. Today's hero can easily become tomorrow's sacrifice. You're led back to the holding area, where a rudimentary medical team tends to your wounds. The cut on your thigh is cleaned and bandaged. It will leave a scar, but it's far from the worst injury you've seen. As the adrenaline fades, you begin to feel the full extent of your exertions. Every muscle aches, and bruises are already forming where your opponent's blows landed. There's no time for rest, though. The games continue, and you're expected to watch the remaining fights. It's partly a reward for your victory, but also a learning opportunity. You study the techniques of the other gladiators, noting strategies that might serve you well in future battles. As the day wears on, you witness the full spectrum of gladiatorial combat. There are one-on-one duels of breathtaking skill, group melees that descend into bloody chaos, and even exotic battles featuring strange weapons or animals. Some fights end in death, others in mercy. You watch as defeated gladiators appeal to the crowd for their lives, and you see how the editor, the official overseeing the games, takes cues from the spectators' reactions to decide their fates. By the time the games conclude, you're exhausted but exhilarated. You've not only survived, but succeeded in your debut. As you're led back to the ludus with the other survivors, there's a new spring in your step despite your fatigue. You've tasted glory, and you want more. The reception at the ludus is mixed. Some of your fellow gladiators congratulate you warmly, genuinely happy for your success. Others regard you with envy or resentment. Your victory means you'll likely receive better treatment, more food, perhaps even a chance at earning your freedom if you continue to perform well. The Lanista is pleased with your performance. He visits the ludus that evening, personally commending you and the other victors. There are promises of rewards, better quarters, choicer food, even a share of the winnings from bets placed on your fight. But his words carry an implicit threat as well. Now that you've proven your worth, more will be expected of you. That night, sleep doesn't come easily despite your exhaustion. Your mind replays the events of the day, the fear, the excitement, the moment of triumph. You think of the men who fell, wondering if you'll see them again or if they've made their final journey to the underworld. You ponder your own future, daring to hope that you might one day earn enough victories to win your freedom. The next few days pass in a blur of rest and light training as your body recovers. Your status in the ludus has changed subtly. The instructors pay more attention to you, refining your technique and teaching you more advanced moves. You're given better quality food, and your sleeping area is moved to a slightly more comfortable section of the barracks. But the real change is within you. You carry yourself differently now, with more confidence. You faced death and emerged victorious. The arena is no longer an abstract concept, but a vivid reality. You know its sounds, its smells, the feel of its sand under your feet. You felt the crowd's energy, tasted their adulation. It's intoxicating, and part of you craves to experience it again. As you resume full training, you throw yourself into it with renewed vigor. Every drill, Every practice bout is an opportunity to improve, to ensure that your next time in the arena will be as triumphant as the first. You pay closer attention to the political and social aspects of gladiatorial life as well, learning how to curry favor with the Lonista and influential spectators. Weeks pass and rumors begin to circulate about the next games. They're to be grander than the last, part of a celebration of the Emperor's birthday. The best gladiators from Ludi across the Empire will be there, competing for unprecedented prizes and glory. As one of the recent victors, you're almost certain to be chosen to compete. The night before the announcement of the fighters, you lie awake, your mind buzzing with possibilities. Will you be chosen? What challenges await you if you are? You've come so far from the novice who first entered the Ludus, yet you know there's still so much to learn. As dawn breaks, the Ludus comes alive with anticipation. The Longist arrives early, flanked by his advisors and scribes. The gladiators are assembled in the training yard, standing at attention as names are called. Your heart pounds as you wait, a mix of excitement and trepidation coursing through you. Finally, your name rings out. You've been chosen to compete in the Imperial Games. A sense of pride swells in your chest, tempered by the weight of responsibility. These games will be watched by the Emperor himself, attended by the elite of Roman society. The stakes are higher than ever before. The preparation for these games is more intense than anything you've experienced. Your training regimen is personalized, focusing on honing your strengths and eliminating weaknesses. You're paired with the Ludus' best weapon master, who drills you relentlessly on advanced techniques. Your diet is carefully controlled to build strength without sacrificing agility. As the games approach, you're introduced to new aspects of gladiatorial life. You're taught how to play to the crowd, to make your movements more dramatic without sacrificing effectiveness. You learn the importance of cultivating a persona. The crowd doesn't just want to see skilled fighters. They want characters they can root for or against. You're also schooled in the politics of the arena. The games are more than just combat. They're a complex dance of favor and influence. You learn which officials to impress, which noble families might become patrons if you catch their eye. You're even given lessons in basic etiquette, in case you're called upon to attend post-game festivities. The night before you're to leave for Rome, you can barely sleep. Your mind races with all you've learned, all you hope to achieve. You think of how far you've become, from a prisoner facing an uncertain fate to a gladiator on the verge of competing in the Imperial Games. Part of you still can't quite believe it's real. The journey to Rome is a spectacle in itself. You travel with a convoy of wagons carrying gladiators, animals, and equipment from various ludi. The roads are lined with people hoping to catch a glimpse of the famous fighters. You are not used to this level of attention, but you find yourself enjoying it, waving to the crowds as you pass. As you approach the Eternal City, its magnificence takes your breath away. You've heard stories, of course, but nothing could prepare you for the reality. The sheer scale of the buildings, the bustle of the streets, the wealth on display, it's overwhelming. And at the heart of it all, the Colosseum looms, even more impressive up close than you remembered. The gladiators are housed in elaborate barracks near the Colosseum. The accommodations are luxurious compared to what you're used to, a testament to the importance of these games. You're given time to rest and acclimate, but there's an undercurrent of tension. Everyone knows that only a fraction of those here will survive to enjoy their victory. The day before the games begin, there's a grand procession through the streets of Rome. You march with your fellow gladiators, resplendent in polished armor, waving to the cheering crowds. The energy is electric, the adulation intoxicating. For a moment, you almost forget the deadly nature of what's to come. That night, unable to sleep, you find yourself on a balcony overlooking the city. The sounds of revelry drift up from the streets. All of Rome is celebrating, eagerly anticipating tomorrow's spectacle. As you gaze out at the sea of flickering lights, you reflect on your journey. Whatever happens in the arena tomorrow, you've already come further than you ever dreamed possible. You think of the men you've trained with, fought alongside, and fought against. You think of those who fell and those who triumphed. You think of the roar of the crowd, the rush of victory, the bitter taste of defeat. All of it has led to this moment. As the first light of dawn begins to paint the sky, you take a deep breath. You've prepared as best you can. Now, it's time to step into the arena and write the next chapter of your story. Win or lose, live or die, you'll face your fate with the courage and skill of a true gladiator. You turn from the balcony and head back inside. It's time to prepare. The games await, and with them, glory or death. You're ready to face whatever comes. As the sun rises over Rome, the city is already abuzz with excitement. The streets leading to the Colosseum are packed with people from all walks of life. Patricians in their finest clothes, plebeians jostling for the best views, merchants hawking souvenirs and refreshments. The air is thick with anticipation. In the gladiators' quarters, the atmosphere is tense. Some men pray to their gods, others go through last-minute drills or adjust their armor. You focus on your breathing, centering yourself as you've been taught. Your hands move automatically, checking your equipment one last time. A horn sounds, signaling that it's time. You file out with the other gladiators, emerging into a holding area beneath the arena. The roar of the crowd above is deafening, even through the thick stone walls. You can feel the vibrations in your chest. Suddenly, the gates before you begin to rise. Blinding sunlight floods in, and the wall of sound hits you like a physical force. You march forward with your fellow gladiators, blinking as your eyes adjust to the light. The sand of the arena crunches beneath your feet. The Colosseum is even more impressive from within. Tier upon tier of seats rise up round you, filled to capacity with a sea of faces. At the Imperial box, you catch a glimpse of the Emperor himself, resplendent in purple robes. Your heart races as you realize the full magnitude of this moment. The gladiators form up for the traditional parade. You raise your weapon in salute, your voice joining the others in the famous declaration, Avenue, Imperator, Morituri ti salutant. Hail, Emperor! Those who are about to die salute you. The crowd roars its approval. As the parade concludes, you're directed to a waiting area at the edge of the arena. Your first bout isn't scheduled until later in the day, giving you a chance to observe some of the other fights. You watch intently, studying the techniques of your potential future opponents. The games are a spectacle unlike anything you've seen before. There are chariot races that leave the crowd breathless, exotic animal hunts that showcase both skill and showmanship, and gladiatorial combat that ranges from one-on-one duels to elaborate recreations of famous battles. Finally, your name is called. You step into the arena, your senses heightened. The sand shifts under your feet, the sun glints off your polished armor, the roar of the crowd washes over you. Across the arena, your opponent emerges, a muscular Thracian, his curved seeker blade glinting in the sunlight. The editor gives the signal, and the fight begins. You circle each other warily, testing defenses with quick jabs and feints. The Thracian is skilled, but you can see he's nervous, perhaps overwhelmed by the grand stage. You press your advantage, launching a series of quick attacks that force him on the defensive. He parries desperately, giving ground. The crowd cheers your aggression. But then, he surprises you with a sudden counterattack. His seeker slips past your guard, leaving a shallow cut on your arm. The sting of the wound focuses your mind. You remember your training, the countless hours of drills and sparring. You begin to move with fluid grace, your weapons becoming extensions of your body. You deflect his attacks and respond with precise strikes of your own. The fight stretches on, both of you showing signs of fatigue. Sweat stings your eyes, your muscles burn with exertion. But you can sense your opponent is tiring faster. You press him hard, forcing him to expend energy on desperate defenses. Finally, you see your opening. As he overextends on an attack, you sidestep and strike. Your sword finds the gap between his armor plates. He gasps, stumbles, and falls to his knees. The crowd goes wild. You stand over your fallen opponent, your chest heaving with exertion. The Thracian looks up at you, fear and resignation in his eyes. He drops his weapon and raises his hand in the gesture of submission. All eyes turn to the Imperial box. The Emperor stands, considering the fallen gladiator's fate. The crowd is divided, some calling for mercy, others for death. You find yourself holding your breath, acutely aware that you could be in this position someday. After a moment that feels like an eternity, the Emperor extends his hand, thumb pointed to the side. Live. The crowd roars its approval. You help your continue avatar opponent to his feet, supporting him as he limps from the arena. There's a newfound respect between you, forged in the crucible of combat. As you exit the arena, the roar of the crowd still ringing in your ears, you're immediately surrounded by attendants. They rush you to a medical area where your wounds are tended to. The cut on your arm is cleaned and bandaged, and you're given water and a chance to rest. But there's little time for recuperation. The games continue, and you're expected to watch the remaining bouts. You pay close attention, knowing that any of these fighters could be your next opponent. You note their strengths, their weaknesses, their favored tactics. As the day wears on, you witness triumphs and tragedies. Some fights end in death, others in mercy. You see seasoned veterans fall to up-and-coming stars, and underdogs defy the odds to emerge victorious. Each bout teaches you something new about the art of gladiatorial combat and the fickle nature of fate in the arena. That evening, you're surprised to be summoned to a lavish post-games banquet. It's a new experience for you, rubbing shoulders with the elite of Roman society. You find yourself seated near a wealthy merchant who was impressed by your performance. He regales you with tales of his travels and hints at the possibility of sponsorship if you continue to excel. As you navigate the unfamiliar world of high society, you're acutely aware of the precariousness of your position. You're celebrated now, but you know how quickly fortunes can change an arena. Still, you allow yourself to enjoy the moment, savoring the finest food and wine you've ever tasted. The next day brings new challenges. The games continue, and you're scheduled for another fight. This time, your opponent is a Retiarius, a gladiator armed with a net and trident. It's a matchup you've trained for, but never faced in actual combat. As you step into the arena, you can feel the weight of expectation. Your victory yesterday has made you a crowd favorite, and they're eager to see what you'll do next. The Retiarius is already in position, his net swaying slightly as he waits for the signal to begin. The fight is unlike any you've experienced before. The Retiarius is quick and agile, using his net to keep you at a distance while threatening with jabs of his trident. You have to be constantly on the move, watching for the telltale signs of a net throw while trying to close the distance. Several times, you narrowly avoid being entangled. Once, the prongs of the trident graze your thigh, drawing blood. But you remain focused, remembering your training. You notice a pattern in your opponent's movements, a slight tell before he throws his net. The next time you see the sign, you're ready. As the net flies towards you, you drop and roll, coming up inside your opponent's gut. He's caught off balance, and you press your advantage. A quick series of strikes, and suddenly his trident clatters to the ground. The crowd is on its feet, cheering wildly as you stand victorious once again. Your opponent kneels, awaiting the Emperor's judgment. This time, when the Emperor extends his hand, his thumb is pointed down. The crowd roars its approval. You hesitate for a moment, looking at your defeated opponent. He meets your eyes and gives a small nod, accepting his fate. With a heavy heart, you deliver the final blow. It's quick and clean, a warrior's death. As the crowd chants your name, you find the cheers hollow, the taste of victory bitter in your mouth. As you leave the arena, you're hailed as a hero, but you feel conflicted. You've survived, you've won fame and favor, but at what cost? The reality of a gladiator's life has never been clearer or more difficult to bear. That night, as you lie in your bed, unable to sleep, you ponder your future. The path to freedom through gladiatorial combat suddenly seemed longer and more treacherous than ever. Yet you've come too far to turn back now. You resolve to continue, to fight not just for survival, but for a chance at a better life. As dawn breaks on the final day of the games, you steel yourself for what's to come. You've proven yourself a skilled fighter and a crowd favorite. Now, you must prove you have the endurance and versatility to truly excel in this dangerous world. You help your opponent to his feet, supporting him as he limps from the arena. There's a newfound respect between you, forged in the crucible of combat. As you exit the arena, the roar of the crowd still ringing in your ears, you're immediately surrounded by attendants. They rush you to a medical area where your wounds are tended to. The cut on your arm is cleaned and bandaged, and you're given water and a chance to rest. But there's little time for recuperation. The games continue, and you're expected to watch the remaining bouts. You pay close attention, knowing that any of these fighters could be your next opponent. You note their strengths, their weaknesses, their favored tactics. As the day wears on, you witness triumphs and tragedies. Some fights end in death, others in mercy. You see seasoned veterans fall to up-and-coming stars, and underdogs defy the odds to emerge victorious. Each bout teaches you something new about the art of gladiatorial combat and the fickle nature of fate in the arena. That evening, you're surprised to be summoned to a lavish post-games banquet. It's a new experience for you, rubbing shoulders with the elite of Roman society. You find yourself seated near a wealthy merchant who was impressed by your performance. He regales you with tales of his travels and hints at the possibility of sponsorship if you continue to excel. As you navigate the unfamiliar world of high society, you're acutely aware of the precariousness of your position. You're celebrated now, but you know how quickly fortunes can change in the arena. Still, you allow yourself to enjoy the moment, savoring the finest food and wine you've ever tasted. The next day brings new challenges. The games continue, and you're scheduled for another fight. This time, your opponent is Retiarius, a gladiator armed with a net and trident. It's a matchup you've trained for, but never faced in actual combat. As you step into the arena, you can feel the weight of expectation. Your victory yesterday has made you a crowd favorite, and they're eager to see what you'll do next. The Retiarius is already in position, his net swaying slightly as he waits for the signal to begin. The fight is unlike any you've experienced before. The Retiarius is quick and agile, using his net to keep you at a distance while threatening with jabs of his trident. You have to be constantly on the move, watching for the telltale signs of a net throw while trying to close the distance. Several times, you narrowly avoid being entangled. Once, the prongs of the trident graze your thigh, drawing blood. But you remain focused, remembering your training. You notice a pattern in your opponent's movements, a slight tell before he throws his net. The next time you see the sign, you're ready. As the net flies towards you, you drop and roll, coming up inside your opponent's gut. He's caught off balance, and you press your advantage. A quick series of strikes, and suddenly his trident clatters to the ground. The crowd is on its feet, cheering wildly as you stand victorious once again. Your opponent kneels, awaiting the Emperor's judgment. This time, when the Emperor extends his hand, his thumb is pointed down. The crowd roars its approval. You hesitate for a moment, looking at your defeated opponent. He meets your eyes and gives a small nod, accepting his fate. With a heavy heart, you deliver the final blow. It's quick and clean, a warrior's death. As the crowd chants your name, you find the cheers hollow, the taste of victory bitter in your mouth. As you leave the arena, you are hailed as a hero, but you feel conflicted. You've survived, you've won fame and favor, but at what cost? The reality of a gladiator's life has never been clearer or more difficult to bear. That night, as you lie in your bed, unable to sleep, you ponder your future. The path to freedom through gladiatorial combat suddenly seemed longer and more treacherous than ever. Yet you've come too far to turn back now. You resolve to continue, to fight not just for survival, but for a chance at a better life. As dawn breaks on the final day of the games, you steel yourself for what's to come. You've proven yourself a skilled fighter and a crowd favorite. Now, you must prove you have the endurance and versatility to truly excel in this dangerous world. The challenges ahead will test you like never before, but you feel ready to face them. As you prepare for the day's events, you reflect on how far you've come and how much you've learned. The final day of the games is the most spectacular yet. The Emperor has spared no expense, and the arena is transformed into a series of elaborate sets. You watch in awe as the morning's events unfold. Naval battles in a flooded arena, exotic animal hunts featuring creatures from the far corners of the Empire, and complex reenactments of historical battles. Your final bout is scheduled for the afternoon, and it promises to be your greatest challenge yet. As you wait, you overhear whispers about your opponent, a renowned gladiator from Alexandria, undefeated in over 30 matches. The crowd is buzzing with anticipation for this clash of champions. When you're finally called to the arena, the atmosphere is electric. The stands are packed to capacity, with even the highest tiers filled. As you step onto the sand, the roar of the crowd is deafening. Across the arena, your opponent emerges, tall, muscular, his dark skin gleaming with oil, a confident smirk on his face. The editor signals the start of the match, and immediately you understand why your opponent is so feared. He moves with a fluid grace that belies his size, his attacks coming in rapid succession. You're forced on the defensive, giving ground as you desperately parry his blows. For a moment, you feel overwhelmed. The Alexandrian skill is unlike anything you faced before. But then you remember all you've been through, the brutal training, the life and death struggles, the lessons learned from every victory and defeat. You've earned your place here. Gradually, you begin to find your rhythm. You weather the storm of his attacks, looking for patterns, for weaknesses. You notice that he favors his right side, that there's a slight hitch in his movement after certain attacks. Slowly, steadily, you begin to turn the tide. Now it's your turn to press the attack. You drive forward with a series of quick strikes, forcing him to give ground. The crowd, sensing a shift in momentum, roars its approval. Your opponent's confident smirk has been replaced by a look of grim determination. The fight stretches on, becoming a test of endurance as much as skill. Both of you are breathing heavily, muscles burning with fatigue. You can taste blood in your mouth from a glancing blow to your face. Your opponent sports a nasty gash on his arm where you slipped past his guard. As the sun begins to dip towards the horizon, you realize that this bout will likely be the last of the day. The crowd is fully invested, cheering every exchange. Even the Emperor leans forward in his seat, clearly engrossed in the spectacle. In a sudden flurry of movement, your opponent launches a desperate attack. He comes at you with everything he has left, his strikes fast and furious. But in his aggression, he overextends himself. You see your opportunity and take it. With a move that feels more instinct than conscious thought, you sidestep his attack and counter. Your blade finds its mark, slipping between his ribs. The Alexandrian champion stumbles, then falls to his knees, his weapon dropping from nerveless fingers. The arena falls silent for a moment, then erupts in a thunderous cheer. You've done it. You've defeated the undefeatable champion. As the reality of your victory sinks in, you feel a complex mix of emotions, elation, relief, and a touch of sadness for your fallen opponent. All eyes turn to the Imperial box. The Emperor stands, a look of genuine excitement on his face. He extends his hand, the mouth to the side, life. The crowd roars its approval. Your opponent will live to fight another day, and you've cemented your status as the new champion of the arena. As attendants rush to assist your opponent, you're ushered to the center of the arena. The Emperor himself descends from his box to congratulate you. He places a laurel wreath on your head and presents you with a woodman's sword, the rudis, symbol of a gladiator's freedom. You stand there, stunned, as the realization washes over you. You're free, after years of fighting, of risking your life for the entertainment of others. You've earned your freedom, the crowd chants your name, but it sounds distant, unreal. As the sun sets on the final day of the games, you leave the arena not as a gladiator, but as a free man. The future stretches out before you, full of possibilities. Yet, as you walk through the streets of Rome, you find yourself burdened by a sense of uncertainty and unease. The life of a gladiator, for all its perils, had become familiar. You knew your role, your purpose. Now, you are adrift, unsure of where to turn next. The weight of your newfound freedom bears down on you. What will you do with this second chance at life? The path ahead is not clearly marked, and the world outside the arena seems vast and overwhelming. You wander aimlessly, your mind racing. Should you return to your homeland, to the family you left behind? Or do you remain in Rome, where your fame and connections might open new doors? The options seem both exciting and terrifying. As night falls, you find yourself drawn to the Tiber River. Its gentle lapping offering a soothing respite from the tumult of your thoughts. You sit on the banks, watching the stars emerge one by one, and try to find clarity. It is here, in the quiet solitude, that you begin to envision a future beyond the arena. Perhaps you could use your skills and reputation to become a trainer, passing on your knowledge to the next generation of gladiators. Or maybe you could find work as a bodyguard, protecting the wealthy and powerful. The more you consider your options, the more a sense of purpose starts to take shape. You may no longer be bound to the sands of the Colosseum, but the lessons you've learned about discipline, strategy, and the value of life can be applied in countless ways. With a newfound sense of determination, you rise from your seat and head back towards the city center. The streets are still bustling, even at this late hour, and you feel a surge of energy coursing through you. For the first time in years, the future seems full of promise, not just peril. As you walk, you begin to map out a plan. First, you will seek out the wealthy merchant who had expressed interest in sponsoring you. Perhaps he can provide the resources and connections you need to transition into a new line of work from. There, the possibilities are endless. The path ahead may not be as clear-cut as the one you've known, but you are no longer a slave to the whims of the crowd or the emperor. You are a free man, your destiny in your own hands, and with the lessons of the arena etched into your very being. You know you have the fortitude to face whatever challenges may come. As the first hints of dawn begin to color the sky, you stride with purpose towards your next chapter, your footsteps lighter than they have been in years. The future may be uncertain, but for the first time, it is truly your own. As the first hints of dawn begin to color the sky, you stride with purpose towards your next chapter, your footsteps lighter than they have been in years. The future may be uncertain, but for the first time, it is truly your own. You make your way to the opulent villa of the wealthy merchant who had expressed interest in sponsoring you. The guards at the gate recognize you immediately and usher you inside, where you are greeted by the merchant himself. He is an imposing figure, his face weathered by years of business dealings, but his eyes shine with genuine excitement at your arrival. "My friend," he exclaims, "I had hoped our paths would cross again. Come, let us talk." Over a sumptuous breakfast, the two of you discuss your options. The merchant is impressed by your skills and resilience, and he sees great potential in you. He offers to provide the resources and connections you need to transition into a new line of work, perhaps as a bodyguard, or even as a trainer for aspiring gladiators. As you listen, a sense of relief and possibility begins to take root within you. This is the opportunity you've been seeking, a chance to build a life beyond the confines of the arena. With the merchant's backing, the path forward suddenly seems much clearer. You accept his offer, shaking hands on a deal that will change the course of your life. From that moment on, you throw yourself into your new endeavors with the same fervor that made you a champion in the Colosseum. As a bodyguard, you quickly earn a reputation for your keen instincts and unwavering loyalty. Your former gladiatorial skills prove invaluable, as you seamlessly navigate the treacherous world of political intrigue and protect your clients from harm in time. You also establish a training academy, where you impart the lessons you've learned to a new generation of fighters. You take great pride in watching your students grow, honing their skills and instilling in them the discipline and honor that defined your own career. Through it all, you never forget the sacrifices and struggles that brought you to this point. The scars on your body serve as a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of making the most of the second chance you've been given. As the years pass, your reputation and wealth continue to grow. You become a respected figure in Roman society, sought out for your wisdom and trusted for your integrity. But through it all, you remain grounded, never forgetting your humble origins or the lessons you learned in the arena. One day, as you stand overlooking the city from the balcony of your villa, you reflect on the long and winding path that has brought you here. The life of a gladiator was one of constant peril, but it also forged you into the man you are today, resilient, disciplined, and unafraid to face whatever challenges may come. With a deep breath, you turn your gaze towards the horizon, where the future stretches out before you, full of possibility. The road ahead may be uncertain, but you are ready to embrace it, armed with the courage and determination that have carried you this far. As the first hints of dawn begin to color the sky, you stride with purpose towards your next chapter, your footsteps lighter than they have been in years. The future may be uncertain, but for the first time, it is truly your own. You make your way to the opulent villa of the wealthy merchant who had expressed interest in sponsoring you. The guards at the gate recognize you immediately and usher you inside, where you are greeted by the merchant himself. He is an imposing figure, his face weathered by years of business dealings, but his eyes shine with genuine excitement at your arrival. "My friend," he exclaims, "I had hoped our paths would cross again. Come, let us talk." Over a sumptuous breakfast, the two of you discuss your options. The merchant is impressed by your skills and resilience, and he sees great potential in you. He offers to provide the resources and connections you need to transition into a new line of work, perhaps as a bodyguard, or even as a trainer for aspiring gladiators. As you listen, a sense of relief and possibility begins to take root within you. This is the opportunity you've been seeking, a chance to build a life beyond the confines of the arena. With the merchant's backing, the path forward suddenly seems much clearer. You accept his offer, shaking hands on a deal that will change the course of your life. From that moment on, you throw yourself into your new endeavors with the same fervor that made you a champion in the Colosseum. As a bodyguard, you quickly earn a reputation for your keen instincts and unwavering loyalty. Your former gladiatorial skills prove invaluable, as you seamlessly navigate the treacherous world of political intrigue and protect your clients from harm. In time, you also establish a training academy, where you impart the lessons you've learned to a new generation of fighters. You take great pride in watching your students grow, honing their skills and instilling in them the discipline and honor that defined your own career. Through it all, you never forget the sacrifices and struggles that brought you to this point. The scars on your body serve as a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of making the most of the second chance you've been given. As the years pass, your reputation and wealth continue to grow. You become a respected figure in Roman society, sought out for your wisdom and trusted for your integrity. But through it all, you remain grounded, never forgetting your humble origins or the lessons you learned in the arena. One day, as you stand overlooking the city from the balcony of your villa, you reflect on the long and winding path that has brought you here. The life of a gladiator was one of constant peril, but it also forged you into the man you are today, resilient, disciplined, and unafraid to face whatever challenges may come. With a deep breath, you turn your gaze towards the horizon, where the future stretches out before you, full of possibility. The road ahead may be uncertain, but you are ready to embrace it, armed with the courage and determination that have carried you this far. As you turn your gaze towards the horizon, you feel a sense of anticipation and excitement for the future that lies ahead. The road may be uncertain, but you are ready to embrace it, armed with the courage and determination that have carried you this far. In the years that follow, your reputation only continues to grow. Your training academy becomes renowned throughout Rome, producing some of the most skilled and respected gladiators in the empire. Your former students go on to great success, both in the arena and in other areas of life. Meanwhile, your work as a bodyguard puts you in close contact with the highest echelons of Roman society. You become a trusted confidant to influential senators, generals, and even members of the imperial family. Your keen instincts and unwavering loyalty make you an invaluable asset to those who seek protection. With your newfound wealth and influence, you begin to look for ways to give back to the community. You establish charitable foundations, sponsoring the education of underprivileged children and providing support to the families of fallen gladiators. Your acts of generosity and compassion only further cement your status as a respected and admired figure in Rome. Yet, despite your success, you never lose sight of your humble origins. You make a point to visit the Colosseum regularly, watching the spectacles unfold with a bittersweet mix of nostalgia and detachment. The roar of the crowd no longer fills you with the same sense of dread, but rather a profound appreciation for the resilience of the human spirit. One day, as you sit in the stands, a young gladiator catches your eye. He fights with a ferocity and determination that reminds you of yourself in your prime. Moved by his performance, you make your way down to the arena floor, where you introduce yourself and offer him a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The young man, his eyes widening with a mixture of awe and trepidation, listens intently as you describe your training academy and the chance to learn from a living legend. Without hesitation, he accepts your offer, and you can see the spark of hope ignite within him. From that day forward, you pour your heart and soul into mentoring the young gladiator, imparting the wisdom and techniques that had carried you to victory so many times. You push him to his limits, challenging him both physically and mentally, but you also offer unwavering support and encouragement. As the months pass, you watch with pride as the young man transforms, growing into a skilled and disciplined fighter. His victories in the arena bring you a sense of vicarious triumph, and you can't help but feel a deep connection to this student who has become like a son to you. When the day of his final match arrives, you stand at the edge of the arena, your heart pounding with anticipation. As the young gladiator steps out into the arena, you know that he is more than ready to face his opponents. With a deep breath, you offer a silent prayer for his safe return. The battle that unfolds is a spectacular display of skill and courage, and when the young man emerges victorious, the crowd erupts in thunderous applause. You watch, your eyes glistening with tears of pride, as he is awarded the rudes, the symbol of a gladiator's freedom. In that moment, you realize that your own journey has come full circle. The young man standing before you, a free man and a champion, is a testament to the power of resilience, determination, and the ability to overcome even the greatest of challenges. As you embrace him, you know that your legacy will live on through him and the countless others you have mentored over the years. The life of a gladiator may have been one of constant peril, but it has also given you the opportunity to make a profound and lasting impact on the world around you. With a contented smile, you turn your gaze once more towards the horizon, eager to see what the future holds. The road ahead may be uncertain, but you are ready to face it, armed with the strength and wisdom that have carried you this far. As you turn your gaze once more towards the horizon, you feel a profound sense of fulfillment and purpose. The journey that began in the Colosseum has led you to this moment, where you stand as a respected mentor, a trusted advisor, and a pillar of the community. In the years that follow, your influence only continues to grow. Your training academy becomes a sought-after institution, attracting the most promising young fighters from across the Roman Empire. You take great pride in molding them, not just into skilled combatants, but into disciplined and honorable individuals beyond the walls of your academy. Your reputation as a bodyguard and confidant to the elite only solidifies. You become a trusted advisor to powerful senators, generals, and even members of the imperial family. Your keen instincts and unwavering loyalty make you an invaluable asset to those who seek to navigate the treacherous waters of Roman politics. Yet, even as your wealth and influence grow, you never lose sight of your humble origins. You remain deeply connected to the community, using your resources to support charitable causes and provide opportunities for those less fortunate. Your acts of generosity and compassion only further cement your status as a respected and beloved figure in Roman society. As the years pass, you witness the ebb and flow of power, the rise and fall of empires. You see the Colosseum itself undergo changes, as new arenas and spectacles capture the imagination of the masses. But through it all, your commitment to your ideals never wavers. In your later years, you take great satisfaction in seeing the impact of your work. Your former students have gone on to become respected leaders, both in the arena and in other realms of life. The young gladiator you once mentored has risen to become a revered figure in his own right, using his platform to champion the causes you both hold dear as you sit in the evening light, surrounded by your loved ones and trusted companions. You reflect on the journey that has brought you to this point. The life of a gladiator was one fraught with peril and uncertainty, but it also instilled in you a deep appreciation for the resilience of the human spirit. You think back to the moment you first stepped out onto the sands of the Colosseum, uncertain of your fate, but resolute in your determination to survive. That same spirit of resilience has carried you through the challenges and triumphs of your life, shaping you into the man you have become as the sun dips below the horizon. You take a deep breath and savor the moment. The future may be uncertain, but you know that you have left an indelible mark on the world around you. Your legacy will live on through the lives you have touched, the causes you have championed, and the lessons you have imparted to the next generation. With a contented smile, you turn your gaze towards the stars, knowing that your journey, though filled with both triumph and tragedy, has been a life well lived. And as the night settles in, you feel a deep sense of peace, secure in the knowledge that you have made the most of the second chance that fate has granted you.